So it is Wednesday, 11th of February. I've got my exhibition in Glasgow coming up at the start of March, so the 5th of March. So I've got about 3 weeks from today to get everything finished. So yeah, today's kind of like, I've got a few things to finish off, a few things to start. I need to make up some frames for some other works that I want to do. So yeah, it's kind of just cracking on, to be honest, and getting starting to get stuff finished. I want to have a good idea by the end of the day of like what I've got and what I still need. So I want to try and get like quite a few things like completely finished, like ready to hang and stuff. Drill the holes in the back of the frames so they can be hung up, and then yeah. Sometimes it's a long drawn out process making these artworks and looking at different materials and thinking about different things for days and days, but this was one of the ones that kind of came together quite quickly. The poles that I've used for this are the sort of supporting sections for the main slide so that it keeps its kind of curvature. I'd cut away the actual sort of side panels of the slide, and I just kept all these poles kicking about, and I was never really sure what I wanted to do with them. But quite quickly, when I sort of started laying them out and looking at them, they made sense, and yeah, I was really happy with how this one turned out. after finishing this artwork, I then turned my attention to a couple of pieces that I'd finished the week before. I just needed to drill the holes in the back of to hang them up, and then they'd be completely finished.
Introducing today because they are kicking off the Six Music Festival for 2026 on Wednesday the 25th of March with that brilliant...
These three are ones that I've finished at various points over the last couple of months. I kind of wasn't 100% sure about them, and so I kept them sitting about and looked at them every so often and tried to see if they'd grow on me or not, but they didn't. So I wanted to take them apart and reuse the frames that I'd made for them. There were certain bits of ones that I wanted to keep the same, but yeah, this whole project is a process of construction and deconstruction, so I wasn't too fussed about taking them apart again and making them into something else. The first one that I started working on out of these three was this one with the kind of spider's web type sort of design inside. I actually really liked how this looked, but I just didn't like what I'd had in there already. I wanted to fill this with the material from these metal steps. Each one is really interesting because it's got different colours on it. They must have all been painted differently when it was actually in the park. But you can see the final artwork here. I've left it to sit there for a little while and added the more rusted chemicals to the frame and the artwork itself, just so it all kind of blends together. The next thing I needed to do was to mark out the holes to be drilled in the back of the frames. This is so that the artworks can be hung up easily with just 2 screws. I used to actually put kind of like a hanging wire on the back of them, but it meant that the artworks kind of stuck out from the wall a little bit. This way they can sit perfectly flush. Moving on to the next artwork that I'd deconstructed, I wasn't happy with how busy it was before, and so I wanted to remake it, but kind of really strip it back a lot, sort of minimal materials, and just let the bits that are actually there sort of speak for themselves. So yeah, I kind of fiddled about with this for a while and just trying to see what kind of work together. got this one to a finished state that I was actually kind of happy with, but I guess I was sort of second guessing it and wondering if I should add other bits to it. So I kind of fiddled about for a little while, trying out different things and seeing if I needed to fill sort of this big space at the top. But in the end, I ended up leaving it as it was, and I'm glad that I did, because it's ended up being one that I really, really like, and I like it because there's not so much there. To finish up the week, I just wanted to get the studio back to how it was before. Just clean up all the bits that were lying about and all the mess that I'd made, and yeah, just get it ready for starting again fresh next week, and not having to start with stuff lying everywhere. Of course, I did my sweeping again. There's a lot of dust and a lot of metal shavings that just kind of end up everywhere in the studio. It's not very well ventilated. Can't open the windows. So, yeah, I'm doing a lot of sweeping, but it's fine. I was in a good place at the end of this week. I made quite a lot of progress with a few different artworks, and the only thing I didn't manage to do was to actually put everything together and see what I've got and what I still need. But that's something I can do next week, and hopefully it's just a bit of kind of finishing up, maybe making one or two last little bits, but hoping that that's the bulk of the work done and ready for the exhibition.